Maya used to believe being single meant something was missing. Now she sits alone at dinner, candle lit, completely at peace and no one staring. It took her years to unlearn that peace. She used to fill every quiet evening with someone else's plans, afraid of her own company. Back then, being alone felt like a countdown, waiting for someone to make her whole. Nobody warned her that whole was something she could build on her own. In her early 20s, Maya jumped from relationship to relationship without ever really pausing. Each breakup felt less like heartbreak and more like falling without a landing. She told herself she just loved love. Looking back, she thinks she feared silence. Every single weekend became a mission. Don't be the only one without plans. Family gatherings always came with the same gentle, needling question. Anyone special yet? She used to answer with a hopeful maybe, even when there wasn't one. Somewhere along the way, being single quietly became something to apologize for. She never questioned that feeling. It was just the water she'd always swum in. Then, after her last relationship ended, something different happened. She didn't rush to fill the space. For the first time, she just let it stay empty for a while. The first few weeks were hard. Old habits kept whispering, "Find someone, fill the gap." Emma checked in constantly. "You okay? Want me to set you up with someone?" Maya said no. Not out of pride, out of curiosity about what she'd find instead. Sarah, unusually blunt for her, said, "Try actually enjoying this before rushing past it." So Maya tried, and the quiet at first felt unbearably loud. She sat with dinners for one, weekends with no plans, silence with nowhere to hide. Relatives kept offering condolences she never asked for. "You'll find someone soon, don't worry." She started smiling politely, instead of explaining she wasn't worried at all. It surprised her how many people needed her to be sad about this. She wasn't, she just hadn't had the language yet to explain why. One night, she canceled a mediocre date just to finish a book she was loving. It was the first time choosing herself felt like an actual decision, not a fallback. She booked a solo trip she'd been postponing for 3 years. Her family worried, Emma was thrilled, Sarah simply said, "About time." Alone in a new city, she ate wherever she wanted, whenever she wanted. No compromise, no checking in, just her own hours entirely hers. She came home different, not lonelier, but somehow larger inside her own life. She picked up an old hobby she dropped years ago for someone else's schedule. She said yes to a promotion that would have been complicated to explain to a partner. Her apartment slowly filled with things chosen only because she loved them. She stopped apologizing for eating dinner alone in public with a book. Being single stopped feeling like something happening to her. It felt like something she was building. Then a kind, steady man asked her out. Nothing wrong with him at all. Old Maya would have said yes just to not be alone anymore. New Maya paused and asked herself a harder question. Do I actually want this or just company? She realized she wasn't lonely enough to accept fine over right. She declined kindly and went home to a dinner she'd already been looking forward to. Emma asked, half joking, "Are you ever going to date again?" Maya laughed. Eventually, when it adds to this life, not replaces it. For the first time, she meant that completely. Months passed. Her solo trips turned into a small, growing list of places she'd loved. Her friendships deepened, no longer squeezed into the leftover hours of a relationship. Her career grew steadily, fueled by energy she used to spend managing someone else's needs. She learned to fix small things around her apartment herself, just to prove she could. Weekend mornings became sacred. Slow coffee, no negotiating, no one else's alarm. She realized she hadn't thought about needing someone in months. Maya sat with her journal one evening, tracing back through the year. She wasn't waiting anymore. She hadn't been for a while. Being single hadn't been a waiting room. It had been a whole occupied season. She wasn't against love. She just finally understood she didn't need it to feel complete. Whatever came next, a relationship, more years alone, she knew she'd meet it as herself. Not a half hoping to be finished, a whole person simply choosing to share. Maya closed her journal, candles still flickering beside her empty, peaceful table. What would you build if you finally stopped waiting to start?